Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Swanton Village Board of Trustees for Monday, May 8th, 2023, not 22, 23. We have a little agenda review this evening. On our agenda, we had Tim Smith, the Mayor of St. Albans and Franklin County Industrial Development Corporation representative to speak this evening, but he has other commitments and he's going to reschedule at a later date. And we're going to have the Swanton Armory representative here, and something came up on their end, so that item is also going to be rescheduled. Other than that, I think our agenda is going as we planned, right? Anybody else?
No, sir, all good.
Okay, so our first order of business, please rise and we'll give the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Public comment. We don't have any public here this evening. Do we have anybody on Zoom?
We do not.
We do not, okay. Anybody else like to say anything under public comment? If not, moving right along, item number 5, approve and accept the minutes from our Monday, April 24th, 2023
I
meeting
wasn't here, you better.
as presented.
I will make the motion that we approve the minutes from Monday, April 24th as presented.
And I would second, even though I wasn't here.
Okay, you're here tonight, so that's what counts, so. Okay, the motion has been made and seconded to approve and accept our minutes from April 24th. Any discussion?
All good?
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, motion's carried unanimously. Item number 6, approve and accept our village warrants through Thursday, May 4th, 2023. What's your,
So moved.
okay.
And
Second.
seconded.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve and accept our village warrants through May 4th. Any discussion? Adam, you're letting us down.
I
We usually
know.
have a
Everyone,
question.
all good, all good.
Okay, there's no discussion on the warrants. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, motion's carried unanimously. Tim's not gonna be here. Item number 8, the Swanton Village Police Department update. I'm gonna turn it over to our chief, Matt Sullivan. You're on.
All right, so I'm gonna be covering 2 months here, so I'll try to do it as efficiently as possible, both March and April. And what you'll see is 2 packets of information in front of you, one specifically for the village, and then a second that encompasses both the village and the town, or total incidents that the officers handled. In March, for the village, there were 99 incidents that officers handled. There were 13 traffic stops, 4 tickets issued, and 12 warnings, and there were 8 arrest charges in the village. And our top 10 incident types were 13 suspicious persons, 13 traffic stops, 8 citizen assists, 8 welfare checks, 7 community outreach, 7 thefts, 6 information reports, 5 motor vehicle complaints, 4 agency assists, and 4 citizen disputes. And then looking at the village and the town combined, officers responded to 184 incidents total, 27 traffic stops, 16 tickets issued, 21 warnings, 30 arrest charges. And the top 10 incident types for the village and the town combined in the month of March were 27 traffic stops, 22 suspicious persons, 16 community outreach, 13 agency assists, 12 welfare checks, 9 citizen assists, 8 information reports, 8 thefts, 8 motor vehicle complaints, and 6 DUI alcohol incidents or drugs. Also, you'll see the information report, that may be a new one, and I can speak to that a little bit. A lot of that is punched mainly because I'm in the process of auditing our evidence room. which is quite a bit of work, and because we were on a earlier system, not on the same system now, I have to create incidents in order to document exactly which evidence is being discarded. So you'll see that also in April. The other thing I'd like to point out is the system is a little bit, as far as anomaly goes, you will see if you look at the tickets, occasionally an address that looks way off. For some reason, the CAD-RMS system is populating the operator's home address in the violation street name, for example. Like that top, let's see, in the village report for March, you'll see the very top one, the violation city is Brooklyn. Okay, we were not down in Brooklyn enforcing traffic, but for some reason, I don't know why it's doing that. Sometimes it's actually reflecting the actual point of the stop, and other times it's pulling the operator's address. Moving on to April. For the village, officers handled 100 incidents. Out of those 100 incidents, there were 9 traffic stops, 1 ticket was issued, and 9 warnings. And interestingly, and I think this is the first time this has happened, we had 0 arrest charges for the month of April in the village. For the village and the town combined, there were 225 incidents, 35 traffic stops, 8 tickets issued, 29 warnings, 3 arrests out of those traffic stops, and then 6 arrest charges total. And looking at the top 10 incident types for the village in April, we had 11 suspicious persons, 11 information reports, 9 traffic stops, 6 citizen assists, 5 agency assists, 5 alarms, 5 crashes with damage, 5 welfare checks, 4 community outreach, and 4 directed patrol. And for the village and the town, 35 traffic stops, 28 directed patrol, 18 suspicious person, 14 agency assists, 13 information reports, 9 community outreach, 9 citizen disputes, 9 alarms, 9 crashes, and 8 motor vehicle complaints. Another thing that you'll notice in the summary is the directed patrols. I received an interesting question from the select board for the town as far as how are we tracking where we are patrolling areas in the town. So I have asked the officers to punch directed patrol cards when they are patrolling certain areas of the town so that we can then pull that information out. And so you will see that. It's just trying to get the officers to remember to do this because they are out there on patrol. It's just getting them to proactively take the step to punch a card and document exactly where they were patrolling in the town. So that's the majority of those directed patrol cards that you see. In general, just as far as the police department in general, the officers are doing a great job. Some of the drug work that we were involved in particular, I believe it was a human trafficking specialist, caught the attention of the drug work we were doing and all the information we were gathering, and obviously human trafficking is a part of drug distribution. HSI, Homeland Security Investigations, drew interest at all the great work the officers were doing. So we have an officer who's in the process of being onboarded as a task force officer with HSI, which is great. We'll be able to leverage that federal partnership, and it'll be a force multiplier for us as far as getting federal law enforcement up here to assist us in some of these investigations that we're involved in. So that's a great example of some of the work. I mentioned the evidence room audit, which I'm in the process of doing. It is going to be an ongoing process. It's quite tedious and it will take quite a bit of time. We currently have 2 officers at death investigation school, so it'll be great to get more officers trained. It's something in Burlington, all officers did death investigations. It's a little different here in Franklin County in that the state's attorney wants you to go to the death investigation school. And then once you've gone through the school, then they essentially sign off on you doing death investigations. So we're expanding our capacity in that sense because I think currently myself and Sergeant Gagne are the only 2 who are signed off on doing death investigations. So it'll be nice to have 2 more officers who have gone through that training. We recently, last week, completed patrol rifle qualification. We participated in the Big Rig event, and we and then the other thing is, as far as the drug activity goes in the village or the town, is I think the officers have been doing such a good job. We've kind of pushed it out a little bit into the town and the surrounding communities. There are 2 target residences that the officers are currently focused on that are in the town rather than the village.
Okay.
Is, just going through the village ones, I noticed that the suspicious person circumstances was number 1 instead of traffic stops.
Yeah, so it's, as far as March goes, or,
I think
There-
either one of them, March or April. Just for
yeah,
the village, it just
in
seemed,
the village, yeah.
just seemed
there-
strange that took over the traffic stops is,
So suspicious people and circumstances is a catch-all, and it's something that at BPD, there's not really a great way to avoid it, because a lot of times there'll be some sort of circumstance that just doesn't sit well with a community member, and they don't know exactly what it is, and they call it in, and we're responding to it to figure it out, and it just gets flagged as a suspicious person incident, so as we're going to
Okay.
investigate that. The problem with that is then it's difficult to pull out exactly what it was from the data when you're doing your data research and figuring out the exact types of incidents that we responded to. So for example, in Burlington, it was an absolute gigantic category that was a little amorphous as far as determining exactly what officers were doing, unless you took a deep dive into the incident and actually read the narrative.
right,
So it is something that, is that catch-all incident type.
yeah. And then as far as the thefts, is that sort of in a specific area?
I would have to.
Shoplifting, or is it?
I would have to take a deeper dive into that to see exactly what those thefts were associated with. So I couldn't give you a specific answer off the top of my head.
No, and that's fine, I think it's just more curious if anything. You know, we had a couple in March that were streets side by side.
Yeah. I'll follow up with that. I'll take a look at that and follow up.
So,
Another thing that might enter into that suspicion persons is the weather change. There's more people out and about.
sure,
And,
yep,
Yeah, and with the weather breaking also, asking the officers, it's difficult in the wintertime with the snowbanks on the side of the road. They're a little cautious about doing traffic enforcement because you're blocking the way of
Right.
travel. And it is a little more dangerous for the officers, so we're getting back into that time of the year now where we're hopefully gonna be aggressively addressing traffic violations.
are you planning on having someone walk or bike again this summer?
Yes, we've already had a couple of foot patrols.
Yep.
Officers have been out there, and so we should be doing that. We're looking into a bike as far as getting a bike. We didn't actually procure a bike. I think that would be suitable, but it's something we can continue to look at, because it is a great idea, especially for the village itself.
Okay, thank you.
Has the town, well, where I'm going with this, Joel Clark was at the SEP meeting last Thursday, and they're talking about developing a rail trail ahead there, and I was wondering if that would, not at this point, but I'm wondering if that would change our police coverage with the town, if they'd be needing more if there's heavier traffic at the end of the rail trail. But you'll be on duty anyway, so it doesn't matter where it is, so. But they're looking into developing a trailhead over here with parking and everything, so. Okay.
I mean, I think you're gonna see the rail trail being used a lot more. I've recently observed it up off 36, with a lot more use of that now that that project is completed for the most part. But it's a great resource, and I think you will see, and unfortunately, probably police will be called on to respond to certain things if people get
Yeah,
injured
that's-
and that sort of thing, and then figuring out how to get in there and safely access the site, and then get somebody out of there. It'll be interesting to see how that evolves over time.
It may turn into a crime opportunity for certain individuals, so
Yeah, right.
the police
Yes.
department will be actively
I
engaged
guess
in
that's
that.
what I was alluding to.
Yes.
But I will say that just in the last few days when it's warmed up, the traffic past my house, the foot traffic and bike traffic past my house on South River Street over to the bridge, the depot, has drastically increased, so it's coming, so, okay. No further questions for Matt?
No, sir, thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Matt. Chief? Oh, let's see. Next item on the agenda, I think, just in time, the span request for paint. You timed that just right.
That's good.
Span
I'm
request
from
for
Burlington, like,
painting the outside walls of McQuam Beach outhouse.
yes.
And I sent you the email that she sent me on the pictures and things that they're thinking of. So my apologies for sending it so late.
You did?
Yes, tonight, 20
Oh,
minutes,
tonight?
20 minutes ago.
Oh,
I just
okay.
went
I'm
through
sorry, I
and
should've
I just went
CC'd
through and I'm like,
I
oh
should've
gosh.
CC'd you all, but Adam said, I got this, don't worry. Now I know, Adam.
Oh, yeah, I did, you got it.
So this came up, I think, last year maybe, when we were down there and Dean said, oh yeah, it'd be great to do this building and I know it's been painted recently, I know we know that, but we were just thinking it would be really nice to brighten it up, and just make it feel more alive down there. And so that's how we kind of came up with some of these concepts with sort of bright colors. The concept is to do sort of a sunset-y, sunrise colors throughout the whole, all the walls, so there's continuity. And they would be done in the pinks, purples, oranges, sunset-y colors.
So are you proposing like to do a different scene on each wall or?
Yeah, there would be
Got it.
different things going, well, that would be the backdrop.
Uh-huh.
So the backdrop would be sunset throughout the building, so there's continuity. And then do some of these other ideas. So that if the first one is the flowers, that we thought about doing the benches, because the benches are in horrible shape. And we would get concrete paint and paint them with it, we were thinking of yellow, like something sunshiny bright. And then as time, it was gonna take a little time, we would put these flowers or butterflies or dragonflies or something of that concept. So that's one of the first things that, I don't think that's where we'll start. We may start with trying to get the benches at least painted in solid color, just so they look good, because did you send him the pictures of all the building and just for them?
No.
Sometimes you need to remember it to know those walls.
Yeah, no, I sent them the,
Okay. Well anyways, I don't know if you've been down there recently just to know what the benches are like, but they're really chipped and the paint's really gone on them at this point. And then the idea of the face is just like a fun, all-around artistic piece that we thought maybe we could do on the side walls.
Like where there's a corner.
Well, I did write that to them, but we don't know exactly how we'd be able to do it, so we're confused. You and Michelle talked, Adam, about the privacy, is that how the privacy wall always was for the bathroom, or is there a missing piece now?
I don't know, I was not there, Dean was there.
Oh,
I got stuck at work.
okay. Okay, that's not a problem.
Yeah,
So, with the way it is now is there's one privacy wall, and the outside is not there at this point. It just, I don't know why, I don't know if they're gone, or that was how it always was.
I'm not sure.
It's just, if you're still out in the public, and the doors are open, which they a lot of times are, you wouldn't have that extra privacy on the side. So we didn't know, we kind of talked about, can we just put up, sort of a petition? I mean, not that we have to, but if we did that, then we could maybe play with this idea of corners.
Right.
So one side would be on this side and the other side would be on this way, which
Yeah.
would just be very artistic.
I would think the village would probably take care of putting a partition up,
If that's what it needs.
so, yeah.
I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'll have to get down there, yeah, I could not get away
Yeah,
on
that's
Friday,
fine.
so my apologies.
Well, let me know when you wanna go down, cause I'll go down, cause I'm not sure
Okay,
how it looks either, so,
The building?
yeah.
I don't know if I could send you, I have what I sent Adam, that might just help you to look. Would you like me to try to send it to you? could do this, do you have any thoughts on it? Well, I could just give you my phone, if you wanna just take a quick peek.
I like the one with the sun and moon combined.
Yeah, that, what we thought that would be on the beach side.
Yeah.
On the, yeah, in between, that little wall, in between the
Right.
two bathrooms.
I like it, but the only thing with that, it's a little bit scary. I think that might be scary for little kids.
Really, we were thinking they would love it. Well, remember, you're just seeing a picture of an idea. The artists are gonna, I think the artist can do a job where it's gonna be friendly. I don't think it'll have a scary look, because I don't think that's how any of us feel.
But I like art, but I don't know much about it. I'm a mechanical engineer, but,
Fair enough.
yeah, but I would think a theme for everything would be cool.
Well, we worked with that, we worked with the
You know, like,
seasons.
I love that butterfly one at the end, you know, kind of a nature
No,
thing.
it's not, there you go.
If you wanna send that email, I'm using Diane Day's computer, I can give you the address, it's right here. And then I can pull it up for everybody on the big screen.
Oh my gosh, that would be great.
Yeah, that might be better.
Do you wanna put their addresses in, cause that'll go quicker?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, here, I'm gonna give it to him, he's gonna put it
Yeah,
up
we'll
on
give
this.
it, we'll give it a try.
Okay,
What's your step?
I see.
What's the worst that could happen? I could lose
Okay.
all technology, it's all right.
That's okay, we have to go forward this,
Well,
right?
plus we wanna show the folks that are watching in the
Okay.
future and
So we have to forward, let me see if I can think of forward, here you go.
So this will be a collaboration of a bunch of different artists, or?
I
Only
think
one?
right now, we're, because it's very costly to do, and we know there's no, you don't wanna really contribute to that, I know we're working on the water. So,
Thank you.
I think
I brought my own.
right now, we're looking at span, which is 4 or 5 of us, and we may ask some people, we wanna get the backdrop on first, just get that up there. And then see how things, kinda go. Cause cause we're not sure, I think we're feeling really good about having it, kinda completed by most certainly the end of the summer, but, we'd like to do it even quicker, but, it's a lot of work, it's gonna take a little time.
Yeah.
And we'll probably piece it together, so we'll go and do something, like say the moon and then that, we might not have all the details on it, we'll have to go back and
so
work on it.
you wanna, it doesn't seem like it wants to send. That address that's in there is correct. I just wanna make sure I'm not, it doesn't wanna cooperate for me.
This one, Diane Day,
Diane Day, yes, Swanton.net is correct, but see, I can't get it to,
yeah, there we go.
size restrictions
I
maybe?
don't know,
Okay, give it a shot.
there it went.
Okay, let me, please keep talking, I'll go in and try to find the email.
I mean, it looked like it went, so you
Yeah, it
tell me,
could've.
you tell me if it didn't.
I haven't used this on the,
Yeah, they,
messaging.
yeah, that's what I just did. So I guess, I know we talked about the sketch idea, this is just, no one's really having the time to get a sketch together completely. And we're still forming some of these ideas, but these are the concepts that we would like to work with, and the colors.
Okay, so they're up there now, that's the building.
So that's the roadside.
Yeah.
You're looking at the roadside.
And just let me know when you want me to
Yeah.
continue or slow down.
So this is, we just took a picture of this to just show, if we get time, maybe next year, we might try to help make this more of a fun place to go. But that we're not including at this point. These are the benches, there's 2 of them.
Yep.
Those
So
were from Veterans Memorial Park.
Oh, okay.
that's the front, that's the beach wall, like between the 2 bathrooms. That's where we thought we'd do the sun and moon. That's just the side walls because we're showing the petition, I think, and we had these ideas that we might not be able to do.
Oh, I see.
So you see how it's like there's one wall, but there's not the outside on either side. And we don't know if that somebody changed or it was always like that.
I think it's always like that,
Okay,
yeah.
And
So,
should I put, I can send the original email, forward that Adam sent with the designs up there, or do we think, did everybody get a chance to see those? Or should I put those up?
yeah, put them on, so we can
Stand Stand by.
have our cameraman show it.
Yep. And make sure that goes here. Okay, good.
So now you're just looking for the okey dokey.
Yeah, at this point, yeah, we want you to trust that we're gonna do a lovely job, and we understand, we don't want it to look scary. The concept, some of this is for the
Yeah, well,
kids, like, cause they're the ones who are gonna look great.
Again, I appreciate art, I love a lot of the
So these are up now.
walls we did, but I just wondered if it, of a theme, you know, and a kind of a nature theme with the nice blues and greens and just the whole park could be kind of a, you know, here I'm at the lake and
Yeah,
just not carnival-like, but just kind of
But
a,
even like a nice sunset. and-
yeah, sunsets.
That's
and-
what, because that's what one of the pictures is.
Yeah, and I really like
Yeah.
that one with the butterfly at the end.
Yeah.
Do you wanna walk us through again for the camera? of
so
what
this
the-
is just a concept, it's not gonna exactly
Right.
look at like this.
Right.
Gotcha.
But letting you know some of the colors that we would look at, the pinks, the purples, you can wait there, stay
Oh,
at that
sorry.
sunset, just, that's okay. Just go back to that
I'll
sunset.
be a better listener in the future.
This is just this is something that is in our country actually, and, it's the concept of the colors, the pinks, the oranges, the purples, and then the big sun. And that would be on the roadside, so all you would see is that big sun and the sunsetty background. And, you know, maybe some artistic little pieces, like they have little squares there, but something. You know, it might not be quite as pink, it might have a little more orange, I mean, I'm not gonna tell you exactly, we're not gonna copy this, it's gonna be ours.
Yeah,
So it's an idea.
yeah, but I wouldn't think I'd want a big skyscraper in the building.
No, that's not part of it. That's the only, I couldn't crop it out, sorry.
That's actually a picture from Phoenix, and, yeah, the skyscrapers are not gonna be a part of the image, but that sort of was thought something kind of creative, artistic, but, I understand, you know, Chris, you're looking for something more naturalistic in appearance,
Yeah,
is what you're saying, and maybe, you know, that's something that.
because
Well,
most,
I think
Part of the,
a lot,
that's, I think that,
part of the concept is sort of,
I think the concepts are to be more bold and artistically, it wasn't necessary to, it was sort of to be bold and bright and, you know, you call it carnival-y, but, you know, you were saying kids like bright and upbeat.
yeah,
and-
well,
And really, when you go to look at murals around the country, they're typically bright and that's a concept that's real in the
well,
art world.
I, believe me, you know better than I do, but I drive by there a lot, and it is younger families with little kids seem to go there, because the water's so shallow.
Yeah,
You know, it's
Until
perfect for
it's
little
not very
kids to
nice.
play. You know, it's the big boys, you know, the guy, the water skiers and the divers, you know, the windsurfers love it.
well,
show
they
up
do,
there a lot.
they do. But if that, you know, even if the benches and the it's a kind of welcoming, upbeat thing, and in the pavilions there, I mean, I think it would get used even more.
Oh, I know, I think it's drab as hell.
Yeah.
It's-
It's drab, right, so we
Yeah.
wanna really bring it out, and I think,
it's an active boat launch, you know, there, in the first half of the season.
yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah,
cars
it's
down
too
there,
shallow.
there's a lot of people that go down there.
It kind of lets up, but there are a lot of, you know, boat launching.
And we actually, just a couple of us talked to some of the lake people to find out, is there anything to do with that water and beach, cause it's all grown in. You know, of course, there's so many laws with the lake, it's hard, but you know, if there was a way to utilize that more, it would be so lovely. And like you said, for little kids, but it grows in pretty quick. The
What do
growth
you
is,
mentioned the butterfly and the ferns.
yeah,
Yeah,
basically.
did you see that one?
absolutely.
It has naturalistic.
Yep.
Coloration to it.
And, you know, very interesting to look at. To me, again, I'm an engineer, when I look at something art-wise, I wanna keep looking at it. You know what I mean? like the
Well, do you
murals
like
in
something like
Burlington with all
this,
the people in
Chris?
it, you know, it's really
When
interesting.
you look at those flowers up there, does that bother you?
Well, I'm an old fart, so who knows? But I mean,
I love your honesty.
it looks a little busy for me, but,
Okay, well, it
some
prob-
people would love it, I know.
so it probably wouldn't be that, because that takes time. It probably wouldn't be that busy, because we only have so much time to do all this. So it would just be, several, maybe 2 or 3 flowers, maybe, it would be, probably wouldn't be quite as much as that.
Well, I'm no art critic, so don't hold me to that.
So I know for you, I haven't heard from anyone else, I know for you, you'd like it to be more in natural colors, the
Earth tones,
Earth
natural
tones.
colors.
We're suggesting we would like to go brighter and bolder, and I think you said something very interesting. A lot of the people that go down there are young, and they have young children, and that would appeal to them. That would appeal to them, and that's something to consider, that we would be looking at a bigger population, not just a few people, but trying to reach, and remember, if we hate it in years, I guess you can always paint over it.
Yeah. Well, another thing too is the activities that happen here, like maybe one of the murals could have some windsurfers in it, because gets used a lot, just to see the water and the sails, those kind of
I
things.
think we can consider
So-
that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think at the
just
end-
as a thought for something,
Sure.
action in it, that's appropriate for what's there,
We did go through all of that as a group, talking about and brainstorming about, what's in the lake, champ and sailboats and boats and birds and we're not opposed to trying to do that, maybe to one of the walls. I think at the end of my, the pictures, I said, we're trying to figure out how to incorporate fish. So, and we have another one that has just umbrellas that I didn't send you, just beach umbrellas, all different colors, kind of
Yeah,
fun.
no, that's nice, yeah.
You like that idea? So that's an idea that came to us, I didn't send it, but I'm not saying that's opposed. Yeah, you could just go up and show it to them, just to get that feel.
It's kind of too many sailboats out there that we.
Yes, for our bay.
There's like, some colorful beach
Yeah,
umbrellas.
that's really colorful and summery and yeah. that's
So,
nice.
we might be able to figure out how to do, like, we talked about the trees, maybe to work on that, and then we work on a beach scene, or some sort, like Champlain scene. I think
Like
the
I said,
reason
I'm
we
no
didn't,
art critic, but
yeah, I think this was the theme of kind of art that has boldness and connection, the faces and the face of the moon, they have like this connection too, they do have sort of a theme. The butterfly, again, I don't know we do a whole wall with that, but we might incorporate that in somehow.
well, just one, I mean.
So, what,
I'm all for
okay.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah, I'm all for colors too, like you say. But the only thing, of course, this is just an example to get us going. But like Chris says, you might wanna try to customize it to the area, like windsurfers or the picture that your husband had with the beach umbrellas and sailboats. Make it look like it blends with the lake instead of, yeah, I think it's a great idea.
We do want to have a lake theme
it. Is
with,
it done yet?
Yeah.
with sailboats or a sailboat.
or the
Windsurfers,
Right.
windsurfers go on there.
Right.
Actually, there aren't many sailboats on Palm Bay. It's kind of rare, it's mostly pontoon boats and motorboats and, yeah, the windsurfers. So there's definitely want to have a sort of a beach feel, a lake activity feel
Yeah,
to the subject matter.
Cool.
We haven't really fully agreed, but we know that's what they would like, so can we say, we will try to come up and work with it and see if we can manage one of those walls, and I would probably say the wall towards the parking lot, that side wall. Continue to do what we're doing on the beach side, which is the moon and the sun, and then the sunset on the sun, the big sun on the roadside, because I think that'll just be,
No, absolutely.
you drive by, it'll be
Yeah,
nice, it doesn't have a lot of detail, but it's okay, it'll still be very,
Yeah.
noticeable. And then on the other side, maybe we could do something else that, you know, like our faces or something else that works. And
Is it
if
done
you're,
yet?
what's that?
Is it done yet?
If only, Adam, if only. It's a big project.
Yes, now I understand.
But, you know,
Little
we
levity.
do wanna try to do it, so, or will do it.
Yep.
We take it on, we'll do it.
You got our blessing.
Okay, so,
I'm
Trust how
not
it comes
speaking
out?
for-
okay, that's awesome.
Sounds good, but thank you for even thinking of this.
Putting up all the energy, yeah, it's a lot of energy, but hey, we all put energy in.
There you go.
The board out front looks great too.
I was gonna say, that's the other thing I was gonna say, that there's been some bright, fun stuff out
Yeah.
there. And
Lot-
people love it,
Yeah, lots
Yeah.
of colors, like you say, lots of colors.
yeah, I mean, we did a community paint, I don't, you know, the apple with the little worm?
Yes.
I mean, that was done by probably 6 or 7 people, and they, you know, little kids were part of that, big, you know, adults, artists. It's really great, I mean, I wish it would get going a little better.
The one on Route 7's about due to be changed.
Tell me about it. Are we tired of seeing quilts?
Yeah.
We love quilts,
Yeah.
yes, and we, you know, after everything that happened, people have just been a little shy of
Right.
going out, but we're gonna keep promoting, and
Yeah.
hopefully people will start getting out there more and more.
Hope so.
How do did you guys like the dogs? The sunset
Yes.
dogs?
I
Yeah,
like-
very
people
cool,
loved them.
Yeah,
Very cool.
And that was somebody from Georgia that did, like somebody, she's not even from here. So if we can keep promoting it and encouraging people, hopefully we'll see some
Something,
more art.
something else I just thought of too is since we're kind of swanless this year, maybe,
Try to
you
catch some
know,
swans.
maybe one of the boards could have some swans and just,
Well,
Swan
it would
list.
probably still be all in that,
Yes.
that one, you know, that one wall, whatever we incorporate, but I think we know swans are part of us. So we can see what we can do, that's kind of fun right there.
There you
All right,
Okay.
sounds great, thank you
Thank you
all.
so much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Yes,
Right.
this is
Okay,
great.
coming in.
and I think we're getting the water on for Memorial Day, so that's probably when we'll start beginning, because we need that water.
There you go.
We're gonna have to do a little power
Yeah.
wash.
I'll touch base with Dean again and see what came out.
Absolutely. Thank you
Okay.
all.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good evening.
Absolutely.
Okay, next on the agenda is the village manager's update. That's what I have.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have just a few items, more than a few. All right, let's talk about 6 South River Street. We're not gonna call it the Hotel Riv anymore. It's now 6 South River Street. We received the supplemental site investigation report from KAS this afternoon, about noontime.
Who is KAS?
They are the
Engineers.
vendor that manages, among other things, the study of the environmental scientist. So they're the ones that kind of, the overarching folks that,
Who's their boss? State of Vermont?
No.
no, they're independent. They're an independent contractor. Filled
Are
with
they
scientists,
all over
staff
New England, or are
scientists.
they just in Vermont?
Just in Vermont.
Yeah, just in Vermont. Yep. So they've been with us on the RIV project from the beginning. So if you recall, prior to demolition, they went in and they did hand boring for the additional sites. So we now have those results. So the study identified some lead and benzopyrene, which is essentially like a coal ash or a similar derivative. So here's what has to happen. There will be significant delays in this process.
What's the quantities of this stuff? What makes it significant?
Measurable, I will tell you that it's a 54-page report that I got this afternoon that I have not had a chance to read. I have the executive summary prepared for all of you, and you'll get a copy of that. Essentially now that they found stuff that we are gonna be mandated to go and remove, they have to send the report by law to the Vermont DEC, Department of Environmental Conservation. They have X number of time to review it. And that looks like, I have it right here. There's gonna be, like I said, some significant delays here.
Can we ask some questions?
Can we
Like-
ask questions to KAS?
Yeah, well, I mean, of all I'm thinking of is how typical of maybe other lands along the river are what you're finding there. If everybody's got the same problem, maybe you'll let sleeping dogs lie here. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, but I will say that, so we have to do due diligence. We took ownership of the property, we removed it, we excavated. You know, it's part of the process now. We will be required to mitigate.
Don't they
this
even
by
care
removing
how
it.
this stuff got there?
No, not at all. No. At 100%, all they care is that we make it, we remove it, and we make it safe. So this report goes to Vermont DEC. They will weigh in and give some recommendations. Then we have to have a corrective action plan.
What makes this stuff dangerous? Stirring it up
Technically,
makes it dangerous, I would think.
some of it's lead, so it could be lead paint from old lead paint on the sides of the old building. That will leach into the ground. It could be, and I'm just guessing, I think they did burn coal in the basement of there at one point. That probably wasn't disposed of properly and leached into the soil. The good news is that it goes about 4 to 5 feet deep, and that's all we'll have to mitigate. But the timeline is this. DEC they have to review and approve this report that the folks at KAS provided by June 9th. There has to be a submittal of supplemental investigation that then DEC will review by July 31st. We have to have just a draft of what we plan on doing by October. So we're gonna apply once again for brownfields funds to mitigate this. We don't have to do it now, but I would suggest, and this is KAS's suggestion, that we should probably still do an RFP for proposals midsummer. Get a thought process on what the proposal is, because it's different on how we might mitigate it if it's gonna be capped. So in other words, if somebody says definitively, they wanna build X here, housing, and they wanna put a cement foundation and have no basement, that might be easier for us to mitigate than if somebody wants to put in a full foundation.
Sure.
So that's the bad news.
Bill,
It's gonna be about 14,000 plus any brownfields fund removal. This
so
process.
who lays out the mitigation plan? KAS?
Based upon some consultation from the state of Vermont, but no, we do. We actually with KAS say, here's what we want to do. That then gets approved by DEC, so they sign off on it, then we do the work. So then
So-
everybody's on the same page.
So the corrective action plan that we make up, how are we gonna create the action plan?
Gonna
Do we hire one of their registered henchmen to do it, or do we come up with our own plan?
We utilize the scientific experts at KAS to help us do this the right way.
That's what I
Wouldn't
thought.
their report have, I mean, I would logically, as an engineer, I would think, here's the problem, here's the solution, here's how you're gonna fix it.
Yeah, I think it's that
That should be
simple.
in that
Yeah,
report.
I think,
So that tells you what you gotta do. It should be there.
I think it literally is, you're treating it like hazardous waste. You're going in, you're taking out X cubic yards of material and you're hauling it away.
Now, say an individual had bought that property
Mhm.
and they wanna build a regular house there, would they have to go through all this?
I don't know. I do not know.
It just seems like it just never goes, it never stops. And there's gotta be a cost analysis thing here. At some point, it's not gonna be worth it anymore.
I think it's far too late for that conversation.
It is.
Here's the bright side.
Well, that's
The bright
the thing
side
I'm
is,
talking about, there's some lessons learned here.
But you had the foresight and the leadership to take on this responsibility. No one else would have done it based on all of these.
Right.
In a
Oh, I
cost-benefit
know.
analysis,
I'm
we're
not-
gonna lose cash, but we have a blight that's been around forever that's now gone.
Oh, I don't
And that's, at the
disagree
end of the
with that
day,
at all, but I'm just, it just seems like we're being preyed upon.
I don't think we're alone. I think it's,
No.
I don't think we're being targeted or anything like that. I
No.
think that, it's an onerous process, but, we're responsible as the owners of the property to mitigate it and do it the right way and move on. And we'll get there. We'll get there eventually.
That's why it's taken so long, because we were trying to be responsible to get rid of that blighted area
Right.
and a dangerous situation.
Yep.
This is what we've gotta go through. And there's no ifs or ands about it, and we gotta do it their way now that we've committed.
Is one of the options just to leave it as is?
And not sell it and develop it?
We gotta get text.
I'm just throwing it out there, spitballing.
We gotta find a way to get it back on the green.
The answer to that one is I don't know. But I think we'll get through this. We hope to get Regional Planning Commission Brownfields Fund for the
Right.
actual removal of the contaminants. And then we'll be on our way. Then we'll do the RFPs. We'll get an interested party or two or several. And
Well, why don't we pursue that interested party or thing, say this land is becoming available.
Mhm.
Do you have projects that you might like to do this? We're
Sure.
in the process of, and see what we can shake out of it, out of the world. I mean, there's more possibility of things that can be done there other than an apartment house.
Yes, so the danger in doing the RFP now is, in fairness to any interested party, would be to identify what we have to mitigate. Because you don't want an interested party to say, we're ready to move.
That's true, but
Because-
like with Tim Smith, let him know there's
Yeah,
people around looking for stuff like this. Local realtors,
Sure.
let them know this is
Yeah.
out there, it's got issues, but it's there.
right.
If we'd love to hear people that might have interest, we
Sure.
might be able to talk about it.
Yep.
The beauty of what happened with the memorial building is, we partnered with somebody.
Right.
And if we could partner with somebody early on, maybe we can see our way through this thing.
We can do that, absolutely.
But if we wait till everything's perfect,
Right.
it'll be a while.
We're gonna have to wait for that. That's the problem with trying to entertain developers, because I've had people come to me interested in that lot already. But I've held back because I can't give them a time frame. Last year, it was gonna be ready to develop in March. Well, we see how that's gone. So, and now we're talking maybe October, that's past the construction season anyway. But like you say, we can, and I have said to different organizations that we're gonna entertain some kind of proposal for that piece of property. And there's a couple people that have already approached me.
Oh,
And,
that's good. Let's get it really out there.
I blurted that out at the SEP meeting last week. This is what we're doing, we're cleaning it up. If there's anybody interested in developing it, come see us.
Yeah, let's generate some competition
But
here.
we can't give them a go-to date yet.
Don't have to. Somebody's got an idea, and if it doesn't work for them, or the time frame doesn't work, they work, but just whet their appetites.
I think that's what he's done.
And we've got to go through the process like Bill says. As frustrating as the whole deal is, good part is that blighted area is gone now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
That's it.
yes.
It took us 4 years, but it's gone. And we don't want something else going back in there, it's gonna be the same thing.
Right.
So we've got to go through due process. So,
We will get there. We'll get there.
yeah.
Okay,
Get there.
all good on 6 South River Street.
Yes,
Okay, all
and the fence is gone, the neighbor's happy.
it's good. It's a good thing. Let's turn to some good news. So Heidi Rich Valenta's first day today, and already paying dividends. So she brings with her all of her experience and background and expertise, highlighted by the very first call that we went into with USDA today at 11. They know her. They're comfortable. We clearly are going to go places that we were unable to navigate before without that kind of grant and project support. Here's the example. I believe years ago, a gentleman named Ben Doyle, now with the Vermont Preservation Trust, then with the USDA, came in front of the trustees. It was pre-COVID, and he talked about a loan program for municipally owned electric companies who can loan to entities up to $2 million interest-free. I think it was dismissed rather quickly by not only this entity, by VEPSA and others. We have some ready-made projects right now. So, for example, VEPSA can be a borrowing entity from USDA for a $2 million zero-interest loan and loan it back to the village as we increase the scope and span of our electrification when we build next door. So if we're successful in a bond vote, you can take $2 million of that purchase price right away and pay it back interest-free over 10 years. Any little bit helps, but that's, so there are projects like that. Pick any other one, say a prominent business person who you trusted and there was no danger of default, right? VEPSA will loan to us as a pass-through because a village entity is never gonna default on a loan. So the risk, that mitigation, that risk just goes away. So there's a lot of cool things that we're gonna start talking about right away when it comes to being creative and being aggressive and taking advantage of opportunities. So Heidi, 20 hours a week for the first 3 weeks and then full-time after that. Speaking of next door, so the steps in the process, we've had 3 meetings once every 2 weeks for Weeman Lamphere for the architectural assessment. We're really now starting getting into the civil engineering. We will be doing test pits on the 4 corners of the property for stormwater. The concern here is we're pretty low. We do have enough room because it's long and narrow to do retention pond solutions for stormwater. It's never an easy solution, but you know, I think we have enough land widthways, lengthways to do it. We did the RFP that went out last week for the construction manager. So if you recall, the construction manager is going to be another fee, competitive bid that usually is in the range. I'm gonna estimate $30,000 to $50,000. They're the expert that helps Weeman Lamphere nail down cost, so they're right on the money. So when you go to bond, you don't say, "Oops, I missed by $1 million." You don't go over by $1 million. You're right there. I do want to point out, this is as much for the camera and anyone that's watching this. We definitively know now that we believe every year that we delay this project, and remember, fast track will be shoveled in the ground September of '24. Every year we delay, it's going to be $750,000 more. So it's kind of one of those things of act now, but we meet again this week. There's at least 6 firms interested in being the construction manager. The advantage of being the construction manager is you now have an intimate knowledge of the project. So when it comes time to bid on the project, about 95% of the time, the CM for the project is designated as the construction manager for the project itself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not an unfair advantage because they all get the bid in the beginning on that process. So it's pretty telling. Some big firms right away said they have no interest at all, and some others were like, "Yep, I'm gonna send a bid in." So that is underway now. New website. So EcoPixel, it's looking, they're really good. We made a great choice. You made a great choice in selecting that vendor with Vermont ties. So remember, the concept is that right now with our current outdated architecture, we can't change the website on our own. We have one person who can do that, who wasn't always readily available. We, including me, are going to be fully trained so you can mention something at a trustees meeting, and by the next morning, we can do different content, different heading, I mean, you name it, different photos, we can do it. I'm told even I can learn that, so stand by. We review the website on May 11th, the first review, that's internal, so that's myself, Lynn, probably Diane, maybe somebody else in the front office. We get trained on May 18th. We conduct a final review on the 25th, and the launch date is ready to go for the 31st. Somewhere during a trustees meeting, during that time, it's not live yet, we'll be able to show you what it looks like, and so sharp, so easy, so intuitive, easy to find, much, much better than what we have right now.
So the town's in sync with this and this, do they have people that will be able to?
Oh, yeah, Brian and I are on every meeting,
Okay.
and he's got his new administrative assistant. It was Tanya to start with, but now it's Brian and his new admin that are on every call. So they'll have multiple people there that can update it as well, but, I mean, so far, so good, really cool. Tours, so we're partnering again with BFA Building Trades, but kind of doubling down. 2 classes are gonna tour both wastewater treatment and hydro. It's just another example. That's a specific trade program. We wanna target those, for those folks that don't wanna become carpenters, who might have an interest in wastewater or hydro. Let's get their interest now, or any job within local, right? These local folks will stay here and live here and have a family here, and we really want to continue to develop that. One of the biggest news, so the governor is doing a kickoff tour with his cabinet starting, it's on Monday, the 15th, so next week. Starts in Richford, it's himself and at least 5 or 6 secretary level in his cabinet. Richford, myself and Heidi are gonna go to this first one. It really highlights all of the remaining money and programs that are available for, you name it, leftover ARPA funds, agricultural, economic development, the whole gamut. So naturally, we're gonna go there. Here's the better part. Right up the road, Secretary Joe Flynn and his crew will be at the Highgate Airport for an open house from 11:30 to 1:30. At 1 o'clock, we have the Secretary of Commerce and Economic Development, Linda Curley, and her staff here to meet with us.
Here?
Here. So, Monday, the 15th. We plan on doing a very quick, we have an hour, a very quick 10 minutes here, very high level overview of here's what we got going on, here's what we got going on with the public safety facility, the state of the building, and scoot as quickly as we can to downtown, to Tour Merchants Row. Gordon Winters is gonna meet us, we're gonna go inside this building that's under construction.
Great.
So not only highlight what we got going on, but really say, look, we need your help. We need your help here in streetscapes. We could utilize not only the business development, the restaurants, you name it, but we could put millions into the downtown corridor to spruce it up. So there's no guarantee there, but again, that's the kind of stuff that I get excited about. This is, I guess I get excited about everything, but this is,
Tell them how much we'd like to have the big trucks going somewhere else.
well, that might come up, but, I mean, very, very encouraging. So I mention it so that if you do wanna stop in, if you do wanna go on the tour, right? I know we're limited time, like I said to Brian Savage, because we were together on Friday, I'll talk about that other project that, let your select board know what's going on. Just know that it's not a question and answer, it's a tour for their benefit, to have them know what we need help with.
That's just a secretary, or the secretary and the governor? Or the governor? Is the governor?
The governor will not be here.
Be at the airport.
Nope, he will be
Just
at
in
Richford. His official schedule has him leaving after Richford. So then it's Secretary Flynn,
Yeah.
Secretary Lindsay Curley here. So,
Okay.
but again, we're having a Swanton visit by cabinet level folks who, are gonna be invested in what we need for the community, so good things.
Yes.
Only one more page. Okay, so we are doing, this part, so I'll switch this order up a little bit. Our safety committee is fully up and running. We've created what essentially I'll call a safety czar. So we're making Lynn Paradis kind of the safety czar, overseeing training for all of us. We have a safety committee, it's the same as our leadership committee here. Every division, every section has a safety officer who are embarking on all kinds of training in terms of safety and forms and policy and procedure and things like that. So one of the things we're doing You've heard us talk, and even though Todd Jones has not been in for his presentation yet, we have the 2 employees that work wastewater treatment. At least there's 2 of them. We have Todd Jones, who's at the water plant by himself. When you really do a job hazard analysis, doing some things that candidly, safely, he shouldn't be doing alone. So instead of coming and asking you and asking the taxpayers to pay another position, that leadership team, the safety team, came up with a solution. We're detailing Avery, who was full-time maintenance, filling in hydro shifts, to 50% water and the rest maintenance and hydro. We're gonna test that for the rest of the calendar year. If we can keep it up and we don't lose anything significantly, that's a permanent solution without asking for a position. So if it doesn't work, we'll demonstrate why, and in the next tax year, we'll come in and say, hey, look, we have a critical need here. But as of right now, I think it'll work. So anytime that Todd is climbing down a ladder off-site, going in to do an inspection of a tank or whatever it might be, Avery will be there. So it's common sense safety, but I have a final report due by the end of this week on all things that we're doing to improve safety. So we'll talk more about that.
So maybe I missed something here. So as a result of the incident,
Yes.
what were we charged with? Did we come up with this answer without being prompted to do so, or did?
Oh, yes, we did.
Okay, well, that's what
Yes, we
I'm.
did. Yes.
So they didn't have any real issues with us, except we're offering what we've learned from this incident?
It hasn't been finalized yet, so we don't know what the outcomes. We're doing due diligence now to just improve overall safety procedures in our shop.
Okay.
Last thing I have is Brian Savage and I went to a meeting last Friday, Northwest Medical Center, and it's gonna be a joint venture. So we get invited, and at first glance, it's about microtransit. So microtransit is a concept where AOT and others outside entities will actually pay for this and pick any of your critical areas within your community. Bank, doctor's office, healthcare center, shopping center, and expand from there. Instead of having a dedicated route like a bus route, you have the ability to either call or go online, pick your time slot, and they will bring you from point A to point B and back in a time slot that you pick. So it's working in other communities. St. Albans already has a fairly comprehensive bus route and transportation, and it meets the ridership levels where AOT is willing to look at this. It's gonna take about a year to get to a pilot, but the pilot's 3 years and it includes the village and town of Swanton. So, no cost to us, improvement for our citizens, win-win. I was pleasantly surprised at this presentation and what can come as a result of it.
Who supplies the service?
So AOT, and then it is funded by various entities. So what happens on the back end, the rider never says. So say, for example, somebody is having a mental health crisis. Well, there's a mental health provider. They get this service, they get free transportation. They never know who's paying for it, but there's a mechanism in the back where they bill the service, because the people don't do it for free.
Right.
But there are entities that know how critically important these services are, so they pay for it. It's not borne by the community itself, which is pretty cool stuff, if you ask me. Hey, that's all I have.
Really? Okay. Thank you, Bill.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Very good. Yeah, I might add that, I've told Bill this, but I went to the SEP meeting, the steering committee meeting up at the Abenaki headquarters last Thursday. Very well received. Debbie Lavoie, DuBois Lavoie was, she was the main leader of the conversation up there. She took us on a tour of the food shelf, and we got into discussion. everybody wanted to know about the RIV and what was planned for that, so I gave them a summary of that, but, good group, there was about 30 people there, and, great place for a meeting, you know, the Abenaki headquarters was really good. The chief was there and, greeted us all, so it was a very positive meeting, so.
Great.
And I thank them for doing so. And I'd like to thank, I already have, but I'd like to thank David Shea for doing such a great job over at 6 South River Street. And they picked up the fence today, so they're done completely. But other than that, anybody else want to say anything? We need an executive session to discuss.
Did you have something?
Just two things.
Two things.
Just a reminder, the Memorial Day Parade is Monday, May 29th at 2 p.m. If you'd like to join us, please be at the Babcock School by 1:45 to line up. Flags for Veterans, 9 o'clock Saturday morning on the 27th. We'll be doing our setup, and they'll be taken down the following Saturday, the 3rd. And the Chamber of Commerce office will be open beginning Monday, May 15th. Monday through Thursday, 9 to 3. So the guy that's working there takes Fridays off all summer long. It's a national holiday for him.
Okay, great, thanks.
Thank you.
I had just one question, the Abenaki totem pole's looking kinda shabby. Did
I
they
think it's
mention
supposed to.
that?
Isn't it? It's just weathered.
Just weathered?
I think so, yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's fine.
I don't know, there's something coming up relative
Yeah,
to
they've got
that, that totem pole, so.
they've got a dedication, I think, for
Yes.
the former chief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but, I don't know, Chris, we'll find out.
I'm just, the park is starting to spruce up and I'm just
Yeah.
thinking.
And another recognition at the SEP meeting was Hank Lambert and the beautification committee wanted to thank the village and the town and all involved for their contributions, because they have raised more money for the beautification than they had expected. And
Great.
They said, stay tuned, we'll make you proud, so. They thank the whole community for their participation, so.
Great.
Okay, any more? If not, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel and real estate.
So move.
Seconded.
Motion has been made and seconded to go into executive session to discuss personnel and real estate. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion's carried. We are in executive session.